Good morning and or afternoon, wherever you're listening or tuning in from. Thank you for coming to the UPRT Safety Summit for Pilots Worldwide. My name is Michaela Satter. I represent the Science Team Safety Data Analysis Group. Just to give you a little background on me, I'm the group lead for the UPRT Safety Data Analysis Group. I have a master's degree in aviation human factors from Florida Institute of Technology. I've had the pleasure of working on many different safety teams, including loss of control in flight, as well as working as a research analyst. I'm currently flying for ABX Air, which is a Part 121 cargo operator based out of Cincinnati, Ohio, as a first officer flying on the Boeing 767. I serve on their ASAP and fatigue committees over there at ABX Air. And then when I'm not flying big jets, I am lucky enough to be able to go teach and tailwheel warbirds, including the Pilot Maker T6 Texan, as well as aerobatic teaching as a CFI down in South Carolina. Today, we're going to be talking about the purpose and function of our group, the Safety Data Analysis Group within UPRTA, Upset Prevention Recovery Training Association. And just to go over some of the bullet points with this, initially, we are here to define, validate, and disseminate foundational knowledge base for UPRT. So really, there's so much information out there on UPRT that it's hard to determine what information has been validated and what could be considered foundational knowledge within the industry. There's plenty of providers out there, but questions of what's being taught and how does it translate to measurable success are what we're here to do. It may be true that we haven't even determined what is considered foundational knowledge, which is part of why Team Science and the rest of the groups are here to help shed some light on what currently exists and where there are gaps within the industry. So our first purpose and function is to define, validate, and disseminate foundational knowledge base for UPRT. Secondly, we're here to determine measurable techniques for UPRT training success. So to fill the gaps, we need to determine measurable techniques for UPRT training. This is ongoing, and we do have some ways of tracking these metrics, which I'm going to be talking about on some of the next slides. However, just like validating foundational knowledge, there is not an industry standard in this category. So again, we're going to help to determine what that might be, what's available within the industry, and really what's missing within it. So again, our second purpose and function within UPRTA is to determine measurable techniques for UPRT training success. Thirdly, we're here to develop standardized mitigative approaches for curriculum implementation within the industry. So once these metrics and framework are defined, and kind of what defines successful UPRT implementation, we'll work to develop standardized mitigative approaches for curriculum implementation, whether that's in the GA world, Part 141 or 61 flight schools, or in the airlines. Standardization is key, not only for tracking, but to create a clear pathway for providers to follow. It doesn't matter what level. So our third purpose and function, just to reiterate, is to develop standardized mitigative approaches for curriculum implementation within the industry. Today's presentation. In today's presentation, I will define for you the current metrics framework that exists within the industry and what indicators of UPRT effectiveness are being utilized, while also taking a look at current data modeling techniques. I'll cover what is missing within the scope of possible alternative measurable approaches with the mindset and goal of creating an awareness and avoidance mindset within the industry rather than just a recognition and recovery mindset, which is what we're currently kind of functioning in. The current metrics framework within the industry really kind of stems off into two main areas. One is the foundational UPRT metrics. Really, with this, it's analysis of FOQA data. Now, just for those of you watching that maybe don't know what FOQA is, FOQA, Flight Operations Quality Assurance, is data that is digital information recorded from onboard aircraft systems. It's used to identify trends that could be precursor events, to aircraft accidents and incidents. It helps airlines identify operational risks, deviations from standard procedures, and refine and focus training, update operational procedures, and perform targeted maintenance. So really put their resources, money, time, etc., into what really makes a difference. If trends are identified early enough, the pilots are made aware of and trained on preventing these occurrences, which could lead to that awareness avoidance mindset that we're talking about, rather than recognition and recovery. Where we can see FOQA data working in real time is with leading indicators, which to go over what those are: successful integration of CRM within the flight deck. So pilots working together, utilizing all available resources. And also we can see that with pilot performance during training. These can be assessments such as flight training. It can be written assessments, just any sort of testing. They can essentially be measured through skill and knowledge-based assessments, pre and post UPRT, to determine learning effectiveness, accuracy of control response, adherence to procedures, and pilot cognitive resilience. Through this predictive modeling made possible by FOQA, and really chasing down what the leading indicators are, we can figure out risk-based assessments and continuous monitoring by organizations, and we can hopefully somewhat effectively mitigate undesired aircraft states. But really, today's presentation, I know you're probably all wondering what's missing within the industry, because it's good to know what's there, but what are we maybe proposing that we could include here in the future? So future proposed metrics, we are going to talk about success trees. Team Science believes a potential effective addition to the already existing UPRT metrics framework, including the FOQA and the flight assessments, pilot assessments, CRM implementation, are success trees. First, to understand what a fault tree and what a success tree is. So a fault tree is the why something went wrong, to determine successful mitigation processes. So essentially learning why our past behaviors and mistakes led to an undesired aircraft state, but not necessarily how to do it right for a successful outcome, which is really what I'm kind of more interested in, right? Success trees are kind of the opposite. They look at the how to do it right for successful mitigation, allowing the system to determine what positive behaviors lead to success. Identifying these events could lay the standardized route, we'll call it, to successful mitigation of loss and control in flight, which is obviously the underlying goal to implementing UPRT in any training curriculum. This could transform our industry to that awareness avoidance mindset, rather than us just playing catch up and teaching a recognition and then eventually a recovery from that undesired aircraft state. Wouldn't it be great to be able to jump on it way before that point? Fault tree versus success trees. So a fault tree analysis has the top event in the system be a failure, accident, with events of failures and human errors, while a success tree analysis has the top event be a successful system state or goal, with events containing actions or behaviors with positive outcomes. The potential real-world application for this success tree analysis can be used to visually represent the implementation of preventative actions, such as UPRT, and how implementation of this training into, maybe training right in the beginning of learning how to fly, or at some point along the way, obviously the airlines, helps to potentially decrease loss of control in flight occurrences within the industry. Science team goals. So 2025 science team goals include consolidating the best available science to underpin operational practices, as well as doing a very extensive, vast literature review of past and present research on indicators of UPRT effectiveness. By determining what is out there, we can consolidate and focus the industry, like I said, which can be done through a literature review and a gap analysis, and look at what present and past research is, as well as possibly future research availability, to determine what's the best kind of pathway to go down. Once we've determined this, in 2026, our goals would be to standardize what is defined as best practices and the metrics framework. So really, how can we determine when some sort of implementation of UPRT into a curriculum actually translates into some positive outcome, as well as encouraging the implementation to influence cognitive resilience development worldwide. So really creating it as an industry standard to be implementing this UPRT early on. So our goal really is to figure out how to do that, how to standardize it, and essentially how to implement it so that pilots are learning about UPRT and preventing loss of control in flight instances far before they get to the airlines.